In this video, I'm going to show you an incredibly tanky and fun set to use and a build that I think you're really going to enjoy. What's up? My name is Pastor Games. I'm a Souls Like an Elden Ring content creator, and today we are going to look at the Deep Shadow armor set with a build that I think is pretty dope. Now, the Deep Shadow armor set and this build have the ability to be very tanky, and this is one of the better sets you get early on and can use pretty much for the entirety of the game. We're going to be focusing on frontal assault damage, being in front of our enemy, and being tanky so we don't take a lot of damage as well. This set is fantastic for new players and veterans alike, so let's go ahead and jump right into the gear. Now, when it comes to our gear, there is a few things you need to know. First and foremost, I am using all of the epic gear. However, you will not be able to access Assault Skyfall unless you have the epic spear equipped. I've gone through and tried to min-max as much frontal damage as I possibly can, as this set is going to reward you with front damage being in the fray directly in front of your enemies. So first and foremost, we are going to have stamina recovery, frontal assault damage, and stamina damage increase on our spear. For our helmet, we are going to do frontal damage increase, and frontal assault stamina damage increase, as the frontal assault is going to get boosted with this entire set. Now, for our chest, we're going to use max health, critical receive damage decrease, and frontal damage receive stamina damage decrease, because we are going to be standing in front of our enemy for most of the time. We are not using shadow reversal for this build, so we want to be right in front. For our gloves, we have the assault stamina damage increase, which is great. We also are going to have frontal damage guard stamina damage decrease, frontal assault stamina damage increase, and stamina recovery. Now, for our pants, we're going to have that frontal assault damage multiplier once again. We're going to have received damage decrease by 6.5%, so we'll take less damage. We're going to have dodge stamina cost decrease and receive stamina damage decrease as well. Now, for our boots, we're going to have that frontal assault damage once again, that stamina recovery, stamina damage increase, and an overall damage multiplier increase by 5.9%. Now, for the necklace and the ring of the set, I am going to be using the Necklace of the Blood Moon as well as the Strategist Ring, because both of them combined are going to give 50% received damage decrease by 30%, which is going to be awesome. On top of this very tanky armor set that we have, receiving even less damage is going to be fantastic. I haven't min-maxed either of these stats, but right now I have enraged attack damage at 53, max health at 104, and then enraged damage increase at 7.1%, defense at 372, and stamina recovery at 9.2. Higher set overall, when you have every single thing equipped, you're going to get frontal assault stamina damage increased by 15%, frontal assault damage increased by 10%, guard penetration plus 90%, which is incredibly awesome, especially against bosses like Element who have a shield. You'll get assault damage increased by 15%, and after image thrust damage is going to be increased by 20%. Now, when it comes to our skill tree, everything in the swift attack is going to be completely unlocked. Moonlight Stance is incredibly awesome, and I highly recommend that for any spear build you're going to be using. When it comes to the potent blow, we are going to be using 0 point and 0 point fortress, but with the guard penetration, I highly suggest spiral thrust all the way down into spiral thrust vortex. This is going to do an insane amount of damage because it's going to get all that guard penetration, and you are going to be crushing your enemy's health bar as well as their stamina bar in order to get those brutal attacks off. Now, the assault tree is what we're going to be looking at in the chain. Typically, I use shadow reversal, but considering with this build, every single thing we're going to be doing is going to be in front and getting that frontal damage increase, and our entire armor set is going to boost the assault damage by a ton. I recommend getting every single one of these unlocked. And like I said, you're not going to get Assault Skyfall until you get the epic spear unlocked, but this is going to allow you to, once the enemy is exhausted, zoom up into the air, smash down on them, and then you can do a brutal attack on top of that. It is a really awesome skill. We're also going to have Trance completely unlocked. This is just going to chain together all of our different attributes and all of our different skills, and I highly recommend getting every single thing in the Trance tree all the way down to Trance Liberation unlocked so you can do the most damage. I'm also going to use Chase Devour, which is going to gradually recover 1 spirit charge every time the enemy exhausted, which is nice. And when it comes to the Shrewd tree, I highly recommend Vital Strike and Vital Strike Shatter, as these are going to be a fantastic opener for you, as well as the Crescent Strike and the Crescent Strike Massacre. This is going to do really awesome damage as well, especially when you are in front of your enemy. Now, in this guard tree, I have Eagle Wind unlocked, but this is not necessary at all. I just have extra points because I'm level 155. This is not necessary for this build, but if you want to use it, it's definitely beneficial, especially if your enemy is at range. We are also going to be using Rod Smite, which is incredibly important, as this can stop certain combos on your enemy, hitting them out of it and allowing you to pour out a ton of damage. When it comes to our common tree, resources are going to be fully unlocked. Everything here is going to provide you with an extra amount of spirit, and spirit is really important for our skills. Other than resources, everything else is completely up to you. I like to have Brutal Attack Reap as well as Brutal Attack Spirit, and the Brutal Attack Execution is also going to be nice, especially when dealing with your normal enemies throughout the game. Other than that, everything here is personal preference. I like to have Counterattack because Counterattack is one of the better skills in the game, and there's a lot of counterattacks going on in boss fights, so definitely check this tree out if that is something that you want to do. But overall, everything else is just personal preference. Like I said, Moonlight Stance is required, 0 Point and 0 Point Fortress. I would definitely do Spiral Thrust, unlock everything in the Assault tree as well as the Trance tree, and then finally go into Crescent Strike and Vital Strike in order to get that fantastic opener and all that damage unlocked with Crescent Strike Massacre. For the stats of the build, I had to put a little bit into strength to get that B scaling in agility, as if you don't have any strength in this build, you're going to have a C scaling in agility, which is really bad, especially when it comes to dodging and your stamina management. So we have 40 vitality, 30 endurance, 20 strength, willpower is at 50, and proficiency is at 66. Now, I believe you have to go all the way up to 50 strength in order to get an A scaling in agility with this armor set, as it is so heavy, but that's going to be completely up to you, as that's not what I have done, as I find that this is pretty manageable and allows you to be pretty tanky while at the same time having some decent stamina management. Now, right now for our Phantom, I am using Wilfric the Resilient. He's not fully upgraded, but when he is, he's just going to be that much better for this build. Right now, he's level 11 with frontal assault damage increased by 7%, and at level 12, it'll be 7.8%, only getting higher all the way up to level 20. Once I awaken him fully, I will have a gain 0.5% spirit upon using a brutal attack against an exhausted enemy, so that's going to help us get our spirit back to chain all of our different skills we're using. The other Phantom I would suggest using if you have a problem with stamina management, definitely use Kestra the Unyielding. You're going to get an awesome stamina recovery, and at the final awakened state, he's going to restore stamina by 15% when an enemy is exhausted, allowing you to continually pour out that good damage. So either him or the current Phantom I have on, which is Wilfric the Resilient. And there you have it. That is going to be it for our Deep Shadow tank build. I think this build is pretty fun. It does a really decent amount of damage and has a lot of survivability attached to the build. So if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification on the way out. I've been trying to put together some sort of dual wield build to do next. However, I am finding very rapidly that the skill level for the dual wield is incredibly high, and the spear is just where I feel most natural. So I may look into some great sword builds here in the very near future. Let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.